Hi, Brandon Walker, more Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast, trying to adjust the fact that my producer used a 3-second countdown instead of a 5-second countdown today, but I am dealing with it. I am moving on. More Cowbell here in the SEC Country studio in Atlanta, Georgia. Beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. It is a Ties Day here on a Tuesday at the SEC Country studio. I've got my tie on. I've got my beautiful Mississippi State logo shirt on from Maroon & Company. I'm ready to go. I've got everything. We got the more Cowbell set up, got the cup. We're having a good day here on a Tuesday in Atlanta, Georgia. In 2 days, if you're in Atlanta, come out and see me and the rest of Mississippi State's contingent in Sandy Springs at the restaurant over there as Mississippi State's Road Dogs tour will come through Sandy Springs and Atlanta. I'm very excited about it. Excited to see Joe Moorhead and John Cohen will be out there. I'll have more updates on that later as it becomes clear what we're going to do. But right now, it is Ties Day here in the studios. Hopefully you're wearing your tie wherever you are. Colton Strawbridge in Baton Rouge. Jessica Elm Balsley checking in from West Virginia. Hail State and go Dogs. Thank you, Jessica, for being a part of the show. Rebecca Madison Hinton says, Hail State from Clearfield. I don't know where Clearfield is. Is there a Clearfield, Mississippi? Because you got me on that one. I think you made it up, Rebecca Madison Hinton, but thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Karen Morgan DeWeese, as always, in Petal, and Lynn Rhodes Gilmer, as always, in Sullivan, Alabama. Hello, Brandon, all the way from Greenwood, Mississippi, the cotton capital of the world. Is that right? Or something like that. That's Grace Thacker Good. Courtney Jean Oswalt from Stark, Vegas. Thank you, Courtney Jean Oswalt. Hail State from Cincinnati, Jonathan Ecker. Tim Cockrell checking in this morning. Justin Russell's in Tupelo, as is Peggy Ladner Bowles. Hello, Peggy Ladner Bowles. I haven't seen that name here before. So thank you, Peggy, for checking the show out. Justin Russell from Tupelo. Wow, a lot of people from Tupelo all of a sudden. Hail State from the Rio Grande near Brownsville, Texas. Russell Berry. Robert Kirk Webb from Andalusia, Alabama. That's always just fun to say. Andalusia, Alabama is a fun place to say. Point City checking in from Dr. Ned Miller's office, says Tim Doss, where if you're Dr. Ned Miller's office, you'll probably be dead soon. So that's unfortunate. Nope, Ned Miller's a good friend of mine. Good doctor. Hail State from Memphis, Brett Holloway. Brett, you'll just stick with me about 2 minutes. I'll talk about Brett Holloway some more. Hail State from Olive Branch, Jeremy Warren. So on today's show, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about Stephen Guidry, the wide receiver from Hines Community College from Louisiana originally. Yesterday put something just bizarre on Twitter. He put something weird on Twitter, and then he said, I'm getting off Twitter. Well, that's fun. That's fun for the rest of us. But Stephen Guidry is a guy that Mississippi State was going to be counting on, hopefully is going to be counting on to be a good receiver this year. We'll talk about Stephen Guidry and what that situation is. We'll talk about, hey, if State has to replace Stephen Guidry, this is how they will do it. Third topic today, Promise Taylor is a 6'5" power forward. Played at Ole Miss last year, unfortunately for her, but she has seen the light, and she has turned it around. Promise Taylor has committed to Mississippi State women's basketball for the future. A big-time commitment for Mississippi State. And Vic Schaefer. And 2-minute drill at the end of the show. Let's get a couple of more names in here. David Lofton Allen from Milton, Florida, over there in Escambia County. Connor Wiggins from Houston, Texas. Hello, Hail State. Toby Denton from hot and muggy Meridian. It's hot and muggy everywhere, Toby Denton. Tanya Binney from Newburgh, Indiana. Newburgh, Indiana checking in this morning. Always good to be in Newburgh. I've never had more fun than I had my weekend in Newburgh. That's not true. I don't know where it is. So Promise Taylor, 6'5", shot blocker, averaged 8 points, 6.5 rebounds as a freshman. This is a national championship caliber program now, and they get national championship caliber recruits and transfers. Get used to it, Mississippi State women's basketball. I'm sorry, David Lofton Allen. Milton is in Santa Rosa County, isn't it? That is my fault. Escambia is Pensacola. Santa Rosa is the next one over with Navarre and Milton. Mansfield, Texas, Hail State, Jeffrey Davis. Jeremy D says Hail State from New Mexico. We are nationwide today. I don't know if we're worldwide, but we are nationwide. Before we get started with this show, I just want to show you, Brett Holloway is a fan of the show. He's just a State fan. He's a buddy of mine. He isn't a sponsor of the show. He isn't anything like that. But Brett Holloway has started his own T-shirt business, and I feel obliged to help him out with it. Brett Holloway, a good State fan, a great guy, and Brett Holloway has started this jbhollowaydesigns.etsy.com. And I wouldn't show you this if I didn't really like the shirt. I really like the shirt, and I would wear it, but my boss is sitting in there, and he said I can't wear T-shirts. I'm just kidding. I can wear whatever I want. Anyway, here's the T-shirt. There it is. Look at that. That's the maroon logo right there, the maroon Mississippi State logo. And bam, on the back, you got all that Mississippi State imagery. That is a fantastic T-shirt. Very, very comfortable. I didn't show it long enough. Very, very comfortable. And the reason I'm putting it down is because I've got one more shirt. He's also got lifestyle shirts. He's got other shirts that he does, not just Mississippi State. We got the fishing logo here. Got the logo on the front. That's not a very good stretch job. And then right there on the back, look at that. That's a good-looking shirt. That's a good-looking shirt. Terp, you like that shirt?
I do.
You're going to wear that shirt?
Yes.
This
proudly.
This shirt belongs to you now.
Thank you. Thank you.
That shirt is yours. Check out that JB Holloway Designs. Brett Holloway knows what he's doing. He's very good. Very big State fan, and I appreciate him watching, and I appreciate all of you. Hail State from Memphis, Brian Sean Thompson. Hail State from Augusta, Georgia, Billy Altman. Augusta, Georgia checking in. Usually I don't like people from Augusta, Georgia, but today I make an exception for you, Mr. Billy Altman. No smile in there at all? Nothing? Okay. Now, Terp, are you ready?
Yes.
You are ready. We're going to talk about Stephen Guidry, the wide receiver transfer. We're going to talk about where it leaves Mississippi State if, in fact, he leaves. We don't know what's going to happen, but if he does, we'll talk about it. Promise Taylor commits to Mississippi State. 2-minute drill at the end of the show. Terp, let's go.
It's the More Cowbell Show, brought to you by SEC Country. And now, your host of the More Cowbell Show, Brandon Walker.
That's me, Brandon Walker. More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast here on SEC Country. It is Tuesday in the SEC Country studios in Atlanta, and therefore we do this. That one's not as loud as I want it to be. That one's not as loud as I want it to be. Let's do this one. Now we're rung in here on a Tuesday. Love the bell, the lefty bell that I got at Maruna Company. I love the bell. Just wasn't as loud as I wanted it to be because this is a Tuesday. It's a big day. This is More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast with Brandon Walker on SEC Country. Thanks for watching on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter. Thanks for watching wherever you are. Thanks for listening. If you're listening on iTunes, if you're listening on SoundCloud, I appreciate it. I really thank you for making this show what it is. Today, Stephen Guidry is a wide receiver transfer that came to Mississippi State from Hines Community College. And, well, there's some drama going on there. Something's up with Stephen Guidry. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. You don't know what it is. I don't think anybody reporting on the team knows what it is yet. I hope the coaching staff has found out what it is. But we'll talk about Stephen Guidry and what he tweeted out yesterday because it really is important for Mississippi State football this year. We can't afford people at that position. We can't afford players at that position to not be at that position. Then we'll talk about Stephen Guidry. After that, we'll say, hey, if Stephen Guidry, if whatever happens, if he's not with Mississippi State this fall, well, what does it mean? What does it look like? How does Joe Moorhead fill that gap? How does Mississippi State replace that? At the end of the show, Promise Taylor is a 6'5" transfer from Ole Miss who has seen the light, and she is headed to Mississippi State to play the last 3 years of her college career. She'll sit out 1 year, but then she'll be a very important part of Mississippi State women's basketball going forward. And if you're paying attention, Vic Schaefer is building his next national championship quality team. Now, we didn't win the national championship the last 2 years, but we were a national championship quality team. He's going to win one. If you keep getting on the green, your putt's going to fall eventually. And he is putting together that team right now, right before our eyes. 2-minute drill at the end of the show. But Stephen Guidry is a wide receiver originally from Louisiana. He is a guy that Mississippi State signed, a 4-star out of Hines Community College. He is somebody that State was going to lean on heavily. He is at a position of need. Dan Mullen, for all the good he did at Mississippi State, did not recruit well at the wide receiver position. In fact, he recruited poorly at the wide receiver position. Last year, Nick Fitzgerald, the quarterback in his junior season, he was kind of undermined. He was kind of hurt by the fact that his receivers just didn't play very well. They weren't open, and they didn't catch the ball when they were open. So now you go out. You sign Devontae Jason, a 4-star, almost 5-star from the New Orleans area. You signed Stephen Guidry, a 4-star JUCO transfer, and you signed Malik Heath, a 4-star from Jackson Callaway. We talked on the show last week. Malik Heath, it already looks like he's headed JUCO. So that makes your 3-wide receiver class a 2-wide receiver class. And suddenly on Twitter yesterday, the guy that you think is going to be your number 1 receiver this year, the guy that you think you have signed and can put right in the mix and be your number 1 guy, tweets this. Stephen Guidry's Twitter account says, "I've decided to sit this semester out and come back for the spring." And that, I believe, is a peace emoji. Well, isn't that a giant punch in the throat? Isn't that? That's just, that's a giant turd in a punch bowl. That is not fun. That is not fun at all. To see your wide receiver that you have to have. Listen, Mississippi State is a loaded football team for 2018. They've got the quarterback. They've got the running backs. They got the offensive line. They got the defensive line. They got the linebackers. They got the coaching staff. But they haven't had the wide receivers for a couple of years. You finally fix it, and now the main guy, the prize signee, the guy that can get on the field the quickest, is tweeting that he is thinking about sitting out the semester. What does that even mean? What you've been given a scholarship. You have signed with Mississippi State. This is your Division I SEC football opportunity. You're going to be the number 1 guy on an SEC team that is going to throw the ball a lot more than it has. And you're thinking about sitting out the semester and coming back in the spring? What even is this? It doesn't make sense. Nothing about this makes sense. Now, we don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. It's very vague. The coaching staff, it's their job to find out what's going on, to get down to Louisiana, New Roads, Louisiana, where his location was, and say, hey, what are you talking about? Of course, a couple of minutes later, he tweets off Twitter for a little minute. Well, that's fun. Frankly, I think we all wish you'd gotten off Twitter before you tweeted the first one, but he's off Twitter for a little minute, so he's not going to be on social media. This is weird. It's just a weird situation. It's a guy that is going to be given the keys to the kingdom at wide receiver. I mean, he's going to be the number 1 wide receiver the day he sets foot on campus, and there's drama. And from what? I haven't seen anything Mississippi State's done wrong. This seems to be a pattern with Stephen Guidry. It does. Remember last year, he committed to Mississippi State, then he committed to LSU, then he signed with LSU, and then he went back to JUCO. It was just a big – I mean, this guy's been in the recruiting news for 2 years. And then he signs with Mississippi State in December. He shows up in January. He doesn't practice very much. You hear, is he hurt? Is he not practicing? Does he not want to be there? And it goes on and on and on for 3 months. We don't see him in the spring game. Now all of a sudden, here we are in May, and he's tweeting that he's going to sit out the semester. I don't know what sitting out the semester would accomplish. You'd be throwing away a tremendous opportunity. A couple of possibilities exist here. A, this is much ado about nothing. That possibility exists. It could just, he might have just been in his feelings for that moment. And there's nothing to it. You know, you really can't glean that much reading the social media accounts of 18 to 21-year-old dudes. They'll say anything. I was 18 to 21 once, about 3 years ago, and I would say anything. Number 2 possibility, he shows up in August ready to play football, and this is forgotten. The coaching staff gets down there. They determine whatever he was going through. They fix it. They say, they convince him to come back, and he's ready to play football in August. The third scenario, maybe it makes the most sense to cut ties. Maybe it makes the most sense to just go ahead and cut this right now. You don't need this much. One player is never worth that much drama. It's just not. And I know it's a position of need. I know it's a place Mississippi State needs this player. But no one player, no matter the position, is bigger than the team. No one player is worth this much drama. So I hope, I do, as a Mississippi State fan, and I am coming to you as a Mississippi State fan. That's how I do this show. That's where I'm coming from. I hope Stephen Guidry shows up in August ready to play football. But if he doesn't, Joe Moorhead has his first big test. This is his first big test as Mississippi State's head coach. For 6 months, he's been on the honeymoon tour. Right now, he's out on the Road Dogs tour. Everybody's behind him. All the fans are behind him. Players seem to be behind him. This is his first big test. He has to figure it out. I don't know what's going on with Stephen Guidry. It's Joe Moorhead's job to find out and either fix it or cut ties. If it's the tough decision to let him walk, then I'm sure the fan base will rally behind Moorhead. If he fixes it, that's all the better. So let's just say whatever is happening with Stephen Guidry, let's just say Stephen Guidry doesn't show up in August and you no longer have your number 1 wide receiver commitment out of the JUCO ranks. How does Mississippi State replace him? I think Moorhead is a guy that is going to take what he has and make the most of it. I certainly think he's not going to shy away from throwing the ball. I don't. If you look at last year, well, first let me say this: Devontae Jason, the 4-star of Louisiana, has to play immediately, and Austin Williams, the wide receiver from the coast that redshirted last year, he has to prove that his spring, as good as he looked in the spring, it wasn't a myth, it wasn't false, it wasn't a fluke. If he's as good as he looked in the spring, maybe we're okay. Maybe we're just fine. And the tight ends will have to catch more passes. But that's going to be a fact regardless of Guidry showing up or not. Moorhead's going to throw the tight end more. I looked at Penn State's stats last year this morning just to see, what might he do? How might he adjust to a number one wide receiver deciding not to show up, deciding not to play football? Penn State had 4 players with more than 50 catches last year. Think about that. 4 players with more than 50 catches. You know how many the leading pass catcher on Mississippi State had last year? His name was Jesse Jackson. He had 27 catches. 27 catches was the most on Mississippi State's team. Penn State under Moorhead had 4 over 50. They were two receivers plus a running back plus a tight end. Half of their receptions came from players that weren't wide receivers. Joe Moorhead's a good coach. Joe Moorhead's got good talent at Mississippi State. He'll figure out how to get the ball out in the passing game without Stephen Guidry if he has to. I'd rather have Stephen Guidry. I don't want to see this wide receiver class fall apart. But if he's all up in his feelings and he's taking his ball and going home, good luck to you. Joe Moorhead will be okay. Promise Taylor is a 6'5" freshman. She played at Ole Miss last year, and you can't blame her. I mean, they gave her a scholarship, whatever. But she has seen the light. Promise Taylor has committed to Mississippi State. She decided to transfer when Matt Insel, the hilarious coach from Ole Miss, was fired last month. I think he's landed at Middle Tennessee State. But anyway, it's not about him. It's about her. Promise Taylor averaged 8 points, 6.5 rebounds a game. Hold on, don't. We'll get to that. I want to introduce that. That's hilarious. 8 points, 6.5 rebounds as a freshman, and she was freshman all SEC. She's a good player. She was their best player, and she decided to transfer, and now she has landed at Mississippi State, committing to Mississippi State. We'll talk about her importance in just a second. I do want to bring up that tweet. One State fan, at Brian CTP, I believe, at Brian_CTP, he tweeted actual footage of transferring from Ole Miss women's basketball to Mississippi State women's basketball. I don't usually do this, but that's a hilarious tweet. I love that tweet so much. Cinderella turning into the belle of the ball. That's an amazing tweet. Brian CTP, I don't know you. That's fantastic. All right, thank you for that, Land Shark. So, what does this mean? This means the next national championship caliber team at Mississippi State is being built before our very eyes. I don't think 2018-19, the season coming up, is a national championship caliber team. It's still going to be a good team, top 10, 15. But I don't know that we can get back to the national title game. But that team is being built. Promise Taylor comes in. She's a freshman All-SEC. She's already been through the wars. She knows how to play in SEC basketball. She is the next Tierra McCowan. Tierra McCowan's got 1 year left. Promise Taylor will take over after that. She sits a year this year and will be ready to take over after that. She'll join a group that includes 5-star guard Maya Taylor, who redshirted last year, UConn transfer Andrea Espinosa Hunter, and then the incoming freshman class, which was 2 5-star post players and a 4-star wing from Virginia. This is going to be a loaded basketball team. And the point is, Mississippi State has been a national championship caliber team for the last 2 years, and it ain't going anywhere anytime soon. Vic Schaefer is building a program that is going to last. I know that's the fear. Oh, Vic Schaefer's going to leave, and he's going to do this. Boy, for somebody who's planning to leave or somebody who might leave somewhere, he sure is building a lot for the future, isn't he? He is building a lot and a great deal for the future. 2-minute drill. Number 1, I ask you these questions on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. You can answer them. Number 1, who is the most, and this is along the lines of the Guidry thing, losing Guidry, a wide receiver, not good for a team that, frankly, wasn't good at receiver last year. But who on this team is the absolute most irreplaceable player on this year's Mississippi State football team? Who is the most irreplaceable player? Now, it's a difficult answer Because Nick Fitzgerald is a great player, maybe the best player on the team. But at the end of the day, you got Keaton Thompson behind him. Aris Williams, 1,100 yards last year, very, very good. You got Colin Hill behind him. Who is the most irreplaceable player on this team? I don't even know if I have an answer for this. I don't know if I have an answer for this. Jeffrey Simmons, perhaps? Because Jeffrey Simmons is probably the very most talented player on the team. That's the answer coming in. Simmons. Jay Hammer says Gary Green. Somebody said Montez Sweat. But then you got Chauncey Rivers, if he's as good as Sweat as he's been advertised. Fitzgerald, Justin Russell, Jace Christman, Wayman Hodge. That might be correct. Jace Christman, the kicker, might be correct. That's probably it. I've been thinking this team has depth. This team has talent. This team has so much. It could be Simmons just because he's got first-round ability. I don't know if it's Sweat because you got Rivers right there. Mark McLaurin, it might be a sneaky guy in the back of the defensive backfield. Left tackle, says Bill Anderson. Well, Bill, if you don't know his name, he's not the most irreplaceable player. Move Fitzgerald to wide receiver? No, Houston Everett, we're not going to do that. Not going to do that at all. I think it's Jace Crispin. Definitely. Number 2 on the 2-minute drill here on More Cowbell, the Mississippi State Podcast. We got 213 people in here. We got a big audience today. A lot of people, you know what? It's my tie, isn't it? Ties Day. Y'all like this shirt? It's a beautiful shirt from Maroon & Company. Number 2, if you could kick one team out of the SEC, not Ole Miss, if you could kick one team out of the SEC, who would you choose? If you could kick one team out of the SEC, it's not Ole Miss, because I know that's the answer that all of you are going to say. Who would you kick out of the SEC? I think I know the answer to this one, too. Jay Hammer says Arkansas. I think he lives in Arkansas. Kane Martin says Mizzou. Keon DeWan Nettles and Jeremiah Body both say Alabama. Richard Rife says Missouri. Vandy from Toby Denton and Garrett Weaver. Missouri. LSU, Mizzou. Alabama, Mizzou, Vandy. Bonnie Williamson Gable says it's easy. It's Alabama. Bama, I hate their cocky fans, says Jason Brinson. I think South Carolina is the one with cocky fans. Thank you. Mizzou. Yeah, I think Missouri. Who said that? Justin Russell says I still say Ole Miss. I knew somebody was going to do that. Missouri is the one that seems like an odd fit, aren't they? It just doesn't seem like they fit. Texas A&M, like a hand in a glove. But Missouri is the one that doesn't seem like a natural fit. Number 3, who is your most hated team in professional sports? Who is your most hated team in professional sports? That means where they get paid to play, and I don't mean Ole Miss. Where they get paid to play professional sports. Who is the team you hate the very most in all of pro sports? It's a good question here. I see you thinking, Terp. You thinking is it Cowboys for you?
No. For me, it's going to be the Washington Redskins.
The Washington Redskins. All right. Patriots, Mets, Yankees, Dallas Cowboys from Toby Denton, Patriots, Cubs and Red Wings for Derek Myers, Patriots, Alabama, Patriots, Eagles, Steelers, the LeBrons. I love LeBron James. The Yankees. So it's between the Yankees and the Patriots, I'm feeling. Somebody said Packers. Quit saying Alabama, Ronald Barnes. I said professional team. And I know that's how good they are. Moon Pie Davis says the Miami Dolphins. Somebody ban Moon Pie Davis. Anything Boston. You know the team I hate the most in all of professional sports? It's the Pittsburgh Steelers. I do not like the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't like Ben Roethlisberger. I do not like the Steelers. I hate the Patriots, but I respect the Patriots. I don't respect the Steelers. I don't. And it was the Cowboys before Dak Prescott got there, but now I find myself watching Cowboys game, which gives me very, very complicated feelings. Very complicated feelings. Number 4, if you had to sing one song on karaoke and get every single word right, what is your go-to song? I already know Terp's answer. It's Call Me Maybe by Carly Rae Jepsen. Terp.
Correct.
Terp, big fan of Call Me Maybe by Carly Rae Jepsen. So, would you like to sing it? You're okay?
Next time.
Next time. The Yankees insist upon themselves. What does that even mean? More Than a Feeling from Richard Rife. I believe that's, was that Boston? Don't Stop Believing, Wayman Hodge. Baby Got Back, Daniel Tennant. Dinosaur, Hank Jr. Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You from D. Curtis. AC/DC, Hell's Bells. Who Let the Dogs Out, Karen Morgan DeWeese. Jeremiah Body says Devil Went Down to Georgia. That's funny. Don't Stop Believing again. Baby Got Back again. Why? We got Sir Mix-a-Lot fans in here today. What's going on? Itsy Bitsy Spider from Jeffrey Davis. Super Freak by Rick James from Robert Young. The Fireman, George Strait. Who said that? Lane Etheridge. Drift Away by Dobie Gray, Luke Hemphill. Standing Outside the Fire, Garth Brooks, Justin Russell. Purple Rain by Prince. Boy, that's a long song. That'd be difficult. Mine would be definitely Bye 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 by NSYNC. Number 5. Mississippians, look at me, pay attention. Where can I get the best Southern food meal in all of Mississippi? And don't say your grandmother's house, don't say your mama's house. I'm talking about a restaurant. Where can I get the best Southern food meal in all of Mississippi? If I were taking Terp and Landshark and Mr. Carvel over there and I were putting them in a car and we were driving to Mississippi for the best meal of our lives, where would we go? Where would we go? A. Jackson, Oxford says Hannah Chalker. Somebody, Terp, will you ban Hannah Chalker, please? The Dinner Bell in Macomb, Mississippi. Pap's Place in Ackerman, says Kane Martin. Mama's Kitchen in Richland, Mississippi, Luke Hemphill. The Friendship House, I don't know where that is. The Old Country Store in Lorman, Mississippi, Jason Brinson. That does sound delicious. 35 Diner in Sandy Hook, Mississippi, Russell Berry. There's a place in Verona, I missed it, Blake Dees. Dinner Bell in Macomb, that's a couple. Whitefront Cafe. Guy's Fish House in Vaden. The Round Tables in Mendenhall. Vic's in Laurel and Meridian. Mama Hamels in Ridgeland. All this sounds delicious. Ajax is good. I'm not hating on Ajax. It's very good. But I'm not going to Oxford. If I'm getting in a car, we're not going to Oxford. I promise you that. Hamels in Madison. Fannin Mart in Flowood is pretty good. Heritage House, Moss Point, Mississippi. Cafe on Main, Columbus, Mississippi. Manship in Jackson. Hamels in Madison. Home Cooking, connected to a mechanic shop in Verona. Blake Dees, that's the most Mississippi thing I've ever heard. Home Cooking, a Southern food joint next to a mechanic shop, connected to a mechanic shop in Verona, Mississippi. Letha's, Alma Jean Southern Cooking, Senatobia, Gibbs, and Learned. Anthony's in West Point. Phyllis, you're in Dashong. I gave my best effort there. Phyllis, thank you for watching the show. I want to thank everybody for being here. That's going to wrap up the podcast portion. I'll be back on Facebook Live to talk to you for about 5 to 10 more minutes. So whatever you'd like to talk about, let's do it. But on the podcast, I'm going to drop you off here. My name is Brandon Walker. You've been listening to More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. I love asking restaurant questions on this show because I get no more participation than when I ask a restaurant question. So when I end with a restaurant question, I know these comments are on fire right now. Everybody has a small town. Everybody has a restaurant in their small town. The Shed in Biloxi, Shady Acres in Seminary, Outback Fish and Steak in Amory, Mississippi. Mama's Kitchen, says Wayman Hodge. I hope that's a restaurant because I told you specifically, Wayman Hodge, not to say Mama's Kitchen. Is there a Mama's Kitchen in Aberdeen? It's all about the grocery. D. Curtis, I thought you were leaving. You said you had 10 minutes earlier. I thought you were leaving. I'm glad you're here, D. Curtis. You're one of my favorites. You're one of my 200 favorites to come in here every single day. I was at Super Bulldog weekend, and I was getting out of my car, and I parked to go to the baseball game, and I hear somebody say, Brandon Walker, what are you doing here? And it was D. Curtis. And I met her and John, I believe is his name, and I saw D. Curtis 25 times on Super Bulldog weekend. It was the weirdest thing. Everywhere I went, there was D. Curtis. Had a good time. Deer Store in Senatobia, Mississippi. Mama's is in Richland, Brandon Walker, Luke Hemphill. Nothing on Anriel Howard till August after she graduates from Texas A&M. Danielle Wayland Gall. That is correct. Tried to listen from Grand Turk last week, but service on the ship was crap. Well, thank you, Jesse Wall, for trying to listen. I appreciate that. Food is terrible here in Cheyenne. I miss Southern food, says Donnie Caffey. I haven't found a great place for Southern food in Atlanta. Of course, I'm on the north side, and it would take me 30 minutes to get into the middle of Atlanta, which is where all the good restaurants are. Where's the best place to get Southern food in Atlanta? Landshark? Where can I go? Chicken and waffles? That's not Southern food. That's silly food. Terp, are you going to talk to me?
Yeah.
All right. Where's the best Southern food restaurant?
I went to, I think it's called the West Egg Cafe this weekend.
The West Egg Cafe.
That's pretty good.
I don't like the name of that.
It's good.
Barn Hills used to be my go-to when I was at State, close to my old College Station apartment. Jeffrey Davis. Going to Road Dogs in Huntsville. Should I have Moorhead sign my Cowbell over the top of Mullen's signature? Yes, Wade Glass, you should. You should. Or go to maroonandco.com and buy you a junction bell. Or buy you a lefty bell. Or buy you one of these. The Battle Bell. Wherever that is sold. Battlebell.com, I think. My restaurant has the best Philly steak you'll ever eat. Come through Mantachi and I'll feed you on me. Well, I'd rather have it on a plate, Blake.
I would like to take that offer up. I'm a huge cheesesteak fan.
Huge cheesesteak fan? You think it'll be good? You want to go to Blake Deeds' restaurant in Mantachi, Mississippi?
I do.
It's not that far across the state line. We could be there in 4.5 hours.
I'm there.
Blake, you heard it. I'm gonna have to bring Terp to try your Philly cheesesteak. Make sure you put it on a plate. Matthews and Tucker, Mississippi. Len Watson Freeman. Not only do I not know where Matthews is, I don't know where Tucker is. Is there a Tucker in Mississippi? You guys just bring in these towns. I think you make them up half the time. Cowbell, Mississippi. Leather Helmet, Mississippi. Blake D's restaurant is good, says Terry Williams Graham. Martin Smith says your jokes are quite good today. My jokes are good every day, Martin Smith. The blue and white in Tunica, says Mark Wilson. Blake D says, come on, Terp, I'll feed you too. Thank you. Watch what you're saying, because that dude right there, that's a terrible person. Mantachi, Mississippi. I'm almost certain Mantachi is in the northeast part of the state. I want to say it's in Itawamba County. I could be wrong. It could be in Monroe County or Itawamba County or another county. I think it's in Itawamba County. Somebody tell me if I'm correct. Somebody really wants me to eat the blue and white in Tunica. Lynn Tremel Wells says my jokes are good every day. That's why Lynn's my favorite. I sat with Steve C's brother last night in Memphis, says D. Curtis. Blake D's restaurant has awesome milkshakes. Okay, well, stop saying Blake D's restaurant. What's the name of Blake D's restaurant? Blake, what is the name of your restaurant? And it is in Itawamba County. So I'm going to give an endorsement right now on the show. If you are in Mississippi, go to Mantachi in Itawamba County. Just, drive till you smell it, and then east till you step in it. And then you're in Mantachi, and go to Blake D's restaurant. What is the name of it? As soon as I find out the name of this restaurant, I'm telling y'all where to go eat. I have the best milkshakes, too. Itawamba is next to Saltillo. Hail State from Saltillo. So Greg Barnett, we've got apparently the entire Northeast Mississippi contingent is hammering me right now. Jay Hammer said, I heard Blake D's restaurant is good. Okay, we've established the restaurant is good. I need to know the name of the restaurant.
Heard it's good, though.
Blake T says, Del Mar's Grill in Mantachi, Mississippi. Is that Del Mar from, is that like Del Mar from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Like Delaware, Maryland?
I almost can assure you it is not Delaware and Maryland. It's going to be Del Mar.
Del Mar.
Del Mar is my favorite character from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? The Corner Table in Bay Springs. So, Del Mar's Grill in Mantachi, Mississippi. Like us on Facebook. That's Blake D's restaurant. If you're ever in Mantachi, I don't know why you would be, but maybe if you're ever in Tupelo or Saltillo or anywhere around there, head on over to Del Mar's restaurant in beautiful Mantachi, Mississippi. Named after my late grandparents. Oh, well, that's good. That's good. I'm headed to Sully's right now to eat, says Karen Morgan DeWeese. The Catfish Botel up near Pickwick Lake is amazing, says Nick Stevens. Blake D's, are your shakes better than Ed's in Hattiesburg? When did this become the Blake D's show? When did I lose control of this? Whenever I started talking? Keith, Keith D. Ferguson just says Freebird. That's all he says. I don't know why he said it, but I'm with it. Brandon, next time you're in Hattiesburg, go to the Movie Star restaurant and tell Lori, Kim, and Roger I sent you. Donnie Caffey, I will look you up on that. I love going to Hattiesburg. Hattiesburg got some nice restaurants, including, those great, the Purple Parrot, Tabella, the Ed's Burger, all those. If I got them right, I got them right. Mermaid Cafe on Lake Caroline in Madison. Stuffed catfish is awesome. Hail State from Pearl, Mississippi, says Josh Slaughter. Richard Reif is really wanting me to notice that he's saying Golden Corral. I'm not going to judge you for that. I've eaten at a Golden Corral before. Our shakes are homemade, better than anyone's. Blake D's. Blake, I don't know if you're going to get any business off of this, but I know at some point in my life I'm going to find myself in your neck of the woods. My folks live in West Point. My wife's folks live in Booneville. Mantachie is somewhere in the middle of that big landmass. I'm going to eat at that restaurant. Brandon, be sure to tell us if Joe Moorhead has a firm handshake. He does. I already know that. He does. Martin Smith asked that question. He's a big guy, too. I'm a big guy, and I'm looking him in the eye. He's a big guy. I missed the whole dang show, says Adam Harper. Okay, y'all want to just do the show again? Adam Harper wasn't here. So we'll just start from the top, and then we'll do the whole thing again. No? You want to go to eat? Okay. Blake needs to pay for advertising. Grace Thacker Good is correct. Blake, listen, I'm doing all this advertising for you. The T-shirt guy sent me T-shirts. Maroon & Company sends me these beautiful shirts. I don't know what I've gotten from you, Blake D's. I'm just saying. Del Mars in Mantachie, Mississippi. Jack and Rips in Grenada. Weidman's in Meridian is not Southern, but it is amazing. I have been to Weidman's in Meridian for multiple occasions, a couple of wife's anniversaries. It's a very good restaurant. Very good restaurant. Ready to be business partners? I'm always ready to be business partners. I'm like business partners with like 9 of you people on here. Still waiting for Steve C. to rope me into his business. I don't think he needs me, though. I order all my cute clothes from a boutique in Booneville. I do too, Bonnie Williamson Gable. I got a romper there last week. A romper. My wife, by the way, for Mother's Day, she goes out in Cartersville, which is where we live. She goes to a store the day before, Friday before Mother's Day, and she texts me a picture of this, what do you call them, romper or jumper? Am I calling it right?
Romper.
Yeah, you wear them. So she sends me a picture of this romper and says, I love this. It was maroon and white. It was beautiful. So I said, I'm going to go get it for Mother's Day. That's how good of a guy I am. And I went up there to this boutique, which, first of all, if you get your clothes from a boutique, my God, they're expensive. Right? So I go in there, I grab the romper and said, I would like to buy this. And she says, okay, here's the price tag. And I said, I would like for you to put that back on the wall. I would like for that to go back on the wall immediately. I want to leave this store. That's what I would like to do in my life. Send me your shirt size and I'll ship you a shirt.
Large.
Blake, who? No, I'm not large.
I'm a large.
He's not asking you. He's asking me. I'm the talent here.
So you know, I'm a large.
You're just going to wear a T-shirt of a random restaurant, Del Mars in Mantachie, Mississippi.
Absolutely, yes.
Will you quit eating on the mic?
I'm not eating.
Listening and enjoying the show. Anything on the MSU Dogs versus Starkville in September? Don Morgan. Yeah, State's going to beat Florida. State is going to beat Florida in September 29th. It'll be tougher than we want it to be. Florida's going to be better than we think. Can we leave it at this? Buffalo Wild Wings on a Saturday night when State is playing. Traditional wings of mild honey barbecue and Parmesan garlic. Done, says Nick Stevens. Yeah, I'm fine. Blake, message the account that runs this page, and I'll send you. If you really want to send me a shirt, I'll wear it. But if you don't, that's fine. And I'll give you my size, grown man sized. I do not wear a 4XL, Ronald Barnes. I don't wear a 4XL. So I did not get the romper. You're right, Laney Etheridge. I did not get the romper. I got her a purse, which was ironically more expensive than the romper. But I felt better because I got 4 kids. She's not going to be able to wear a white romper around. I mean, she's going to get mustard on it. She's going to get ranch on it. It's going to get, trust me, this is the only shirt I have that doesn't have mustard on it. Yet. Lunch hasn't happened yet. Do you like? Look at this shirt. We got to get off the air. We got to go. But this is a fabulous piece of clothing right here. Terp looks like he isn't old enough to shave. Terp is 14 years old. He's doing good.
Thank you.
He's doing good, but he's
Working
14 years old. He's over there playing Fortnite right now.
I wish.
Bonnie makes a wonderful point. I didn't see it. Bonnie Williamson Gable says, your wife birthed your babies? Buy her the romper. Okay. I guess I got to go buy the romper. I don't know what to say to that. I mean, okay. Yeah, fine. She birthed all 10 of them. 13, actually, Grace. 13. If we get the grad transfer from Texas A&M, we could be in the Final Four again. David Gelker. I don't know. Maybe. I think we're going to get her, Anriel Howard. But I'm not sure if we're going to have the scoring punch we're going to need, even with her, to make the Final Four this year. I think we've got Final Four runs again in the future. But I could be wrong. 14, one was born about 10 minutes ago, says Jay Hammers. All right, Land Shark, you ready? Good stuff. Glad to do it. Glad to talk whatever you guys want to talk about. We had a good time today. Talk Mississippi State sports. The Stephen Guidry thing is weird. William Calcote. You missed the show. You can go back and watch it, or you can listen to the podcast. I appreciate you being here. Until next time, can we discuss why it's called a romper, says Rob Chittum. I don't know. It's woman's clothes, so the less we discuss it, the better as far as I'm concerned. They can call it a romper. They can call it a chocolate chip cookie. They can call it Steve for all I care. I'll buy her Steve till the day I die. My name is Brandon Walker. You've been watching More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country.